conference will now be recorded.
Right. So yesterday, team, we were doing those 14 step of implementation, and so we have listed down all these 14 step of implementation where you can see all these 14 step we have written down here, right? Let's also come to the PPT, that what we were actually covering. So here we were actually there into your, we have also done how we can go ahead and create your employee profile, right? Section, subsection, portlet. So all these details, we have done that yesterday. And today we're going to, we have also done this 14 step of implementation also, right? So now one by one, we will start seeing this, in, how we can go ahead and complete this 14 step of implementation. So first I'm going to start with your 12 point, not 12 point, 11 point. This is actually your RBP, which is a role-based permission. The reason I'm covering this 11 point team, because once you have a role-based permission, then only you assign this to your employee, right? Once you create the user. So I'll start with the 11 point and then I'll come to the first point. So this is your RPP, which is actually your role-based permission. Role-based permission is nothing. It's just that you're giving access to who will have what access in the system. All right. Like for example, let's suppose there are people, there are employee A and then there are B and C. There are three employees in the company, and A is basically he's there for into the employee central, so he will get an access for the employee central. Whereas B and C, they are not for employee central, so they will not get an access for the employee central. Whereas let's suppose B is there for the goal management, so B will get for the access to the goal management, whereas A and C will not get an access for your goal management, right? And similarly, let's suppose C is basically, it's for compensation management. So C will get an access to compensation management, whereas A and B will not have an access to compensation management. So this is what a role-based permission actually it means, that who will have access to what and who can edit what. All right, and this we do that into the role-based permission. So let's see that into the system. So once you come into your system, you will see this is your SuccessFactors system. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to log in into my system with my ID. So this is my ID here, and I'll put in my password here. Once I put in password, I'll be taken up into your SuccessFactors system. Once you log in into your SuccessFactors system, you will see your into the home page. This is your home page, and this is what. But since we are doing your this your role-based permission, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to proxy this, and I will come into your so role-based permission has to be created from your your admin center. So here you can see this is your admin center. Once you come into your admin center, so here I'll click on the admin center. Once you click on your admin center, you will see company process cycle. This is actually your about your all the modules and everything. And manage employee, this is about your where you can assign role, password, and the security related question. So here if you come here, you will see there is a two section which is coming, right, which is manage permission group and manage permission role. So this is the same thing, which is manage permission group and manage permission role. In manage permission group, you assign to the employee who will all which all employee will have a particular role access. Like for example, let's suppose in this case there is a three. How many roles we need to create in this section, team, and especially with A, B, and C employee? Yes, team. How many roles we need to create?
9.
9 role. Okay.
Yeah.
Why 9 role?
3.
Okay, let me see here. This is one role which has to be created, because in this case, you
Yeah.
don't have to assign them anything. Yes, it's a 3 role you need to create,
3.
right?
Yes.
Right. So I hope you people are clear. Why do we need to create 3 roles? Right? Because in this case, you're not giving any access, right? So you just need to give one access here, second access here.
I think you did not hear.
Sorry?
I said 3 roles, but I think you did not hear.
No, I heard that, Sana.
Okay.
I heard you said 3 role. Okay. So, so I hope you're clear why we need to create 3 role, right? Okay. Now let's
Yes,
suppose
yes, very good.
if I make some changes, let's suppose in this case, A have, would be having an access to employee central, whereas for GM, he cannot, see here he can edit data. All right. But here he will only have an access. All right. But in this case, compensation, he will not have any access. All right. So here he can edit data and here he can read data. In B case, here he can edit data and here he can read data. All right. And here he can, edit data, and in this case, he can read data. And this one, now how many roles they will have an access?
5.
5 role access. Okay. What about Sana?
Sorry, 6.
6 role. Okay. What about Sana?
I still think 3.
You will still go for 3. Okay. And what about Mijel? How many role you think that we need to create?
3.
3 role? Okay.
Yes.
See, why 3 role, Mijel?
So, because my case, I understand that, well, uh, 3 user access, but for me, is you can create roles and assign for each role. You can assign access to EC, GM, and CM. In which in EC you can assign E and GMR and CMN. So for me, that's only one role. So you can combine different things in one role. Okay. So that's why I say role A, role B, and role C. And then the role A and B and C, you can assign to a different user, or you can assign role A plus B. That's the way that I see it in SAP.
All right. Oh, okay. Now, in this case, team, yes, you can even create a 3 role also, or even you can create 6 role also. So all those people who have said 3 role or the 6 role, both answer is correct. See, why 3 role? Maybe, you can create for A as a separate role where he will have an access to employee center, and for goal management where he can read that, right? And compensation, he will not have an access. So that makes it 1 role completely. Whereas B role, where you can see employee has an access to goal management, that's the edit option, and in the compensation management he has an option to read only, right? So that makes another role. And similarly for C also, where you can see he has an access to compensation, and where employee central he can only read, right? So that makes it 3 role. But if you want to segregate it also, like one employee central, edit, then GM for read only. So like this, if you segregate it, in that case you will have to create total 6 role. So it totally depends upon you how you want to create the segregation for all your managed permission section. All right. Then apart
Can
from
you
this team, yeah.
can you mix role A and B for only one user? So can
Yes,
you?
you can. Yes, Mijel, you can mix role A and Acha, mixing of role A and B. No, you can't mix role A and B, because in this case, what is happening? See, A have an access to employee central with a complete edit access, right? Whereas B have an access to goal management edit section. So if you mix both the role, in that case, A and B will both get an edit option for employee central and goal management. Whereas my company requirement it is that employee central edit access is only given to A, not to B, right? So you can't mix A and B.
No, my goal is B. Assuming that there is a user B, in which is a super user, and that super user needs to get access to EC, GM, and CM. So for user B, as a David, can I assign role A plus role B plus role C instead of creating a new role? Just use
Yes.
reuse the one.
Yes, Maisel, you can do that. You can
Okay,
do that. And in fact, it's a good question. This is my super admin. It's like, which is actually the second point which I have here, where you can see it's a second user. So this is where it's like, I'll show you how to create the super admin. But yes, whatever the Maisel has said, team, that is also right, because super admin, it means he's the first user in the company and he will normally have an access to all those roles, right? So instead of creating a new role, in that case, what you can do, you can assign all three roles to one particular user. That's a super admin. So that also you can do that. Okay. Now let's come into the system and see how we can define this role into the system. So here, once you come into your system, you will see in your manage employee, there are two different node which is coming. One is a manage permission group and another is a manage permission role. What is manage permission group? Group is actually you are assigning to all those employee, right? So in your manage permission group, you will have your all those employee that you want to assign this role to. Okay, and manage permission role, it is which all module you want to give an access. All right, so this is what basically it's a difference between your group and the role it is covering here. Okay. So first I will start with the manage permission role. So let's see how we can go ahead and do your manage permission role. You can see manage permission role, it is coming here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click here into your manage permission role. Now, before we start creating our own role, you can see this is a manage permission role. There's some people, they have created a system role. Some people, they have created an employee central user, right? Some people, they have created the HR manager, what their role they will have. Some people that you can see there is a role for compensation, there is a role for ESS, right? And there is an apprentice role. So like this, there are so many roles which is coming into your SuccessFactors system. And your SuccessFactors also provides you some standard roles. So if you do not want to go ahead and create your own role, in that case, what you can do, you can go ahead and use your SuccessFactors standard role. Then here you can see the description. So you have your all this description. Like for example, this is a role and any particular description that you want to do that. So here you also have those description. So here you have your status, which is like, whether your role is active or not. You can see all those roles are active. And then you can also see on which date it has been created. And here you have your action. In your action, you will see if you want to edit some role. Maybe you can see this role at present, it is a system admin. And you want to add something else to system admin, right? So in that case, what you can do, you can edit this role. Maybe let's suppose you want to copy and make some changes into that role. So you can also copy and make those changes into that particular role. Then also you can see view summary. So if I click on this view summary, what all changes you have done in a particular role and who has made those changes, you will see all these detail, it will come here. So here you can see all these permission required and everything. So right, so this employee has all these access. So here you can see this link, employee central effective dated entries, he has an access to edit, correct, and delete also, right? You can see last name also. So if you, maybe let's suppose some people you have given an access to first name, they can only edit, and some people, and for the last name, you have given only for the correction. They cannot edit, they can only see. So like this, you can define all your this role and everything which is coming here, right? So here you can see they have only the access to the view and edit, right? So these are your certain role. And then apart from this team, here you can see the history. If you come here into your history, here you can see who has made those changes. So you can see like on 22nd of January 2020, which is yesterday, you can see somebody has made these changes. EC user 1 has made these changes, right? And if you want to see what changes they have done, you can click here on the view and it will show you what changes they have done. Similarly, in this one also you can see on 20th of January, EC user 18 has made these changes. And here if you click on the view, it will show you what changes they have done into the system. So here if you click into the view, so here you can see I have clicked on the view and it will take some time to load this data. Probably it is not loading. I think it's a permission issue it is coming because pop-up also has to be given an access. Oh, I don't know what is coming. There's some error coming team, but like this, you can just view and you can see which all data they have given an access. Now, how to create a new role? So you can see there is a new section which is coming here as a create new. So I'm going to click on this create new. The moment you click on the create new, you will see your you'll see it's like there is a 3 section which which you have to fill to create the new role. First one, it is name and description. So in the first section you will have to provide the name and description. Second section you have to provide the setting, and the third section to whom you want to grant this role. So I'm going to go ahead with the first section where I can provide the name and description. So what is my company name, team? My company name is your ADP Private Limited, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give here as a, see if you, I'm giving as a company name ADP, right? ADP only, right? Yeah, ADP role, or maybe if you want to create like, compensation role, or if you want to create some employee central role, or, so like this also you can go ahead, but I'm just going to take it one role just to show you that how you can actually work on it. So this is ADP. I'll take it as a ADP role only. All right, so that's a one thing. And if, see this star sign that you are seeing, this is actually a mandatory sign. So if you want to go ahead with this star sign, you can actually have, so this mandatory sign means you have to provide this information, because without that you cannot save your role. And then there is a description. So I'm going to go ahead with the same description only. And then the second permission, it is coming as a permission setting. So here I'm going to select it as a permission setting. In permission, you will see all these module is going to come. Your permission is divided into 2 major sections. One is a user section and another is the administrator section. User section, it is your, when you are actually doing it for the user, end user. And administrator section, it is for your, when you are doing your, all those people who will be, trained into your success factor, they become an administrator, right? Like for example, all those people who are attending my session after 2.5 month session, because it's a 2.5 month course, so you will become your administrator, right? So this role, it will become more important for you. All right. In success factor team, what do you mean by the, how you define that, how the administrator is different from the end user? Because this is something very common question, I come across in almost all the batches. Let me also ask you people also, what do you mean by end user and your success factor administrator?
Ashish, is this,
Yes, Sana?
yeah, is this something related to instance and provisioning?
Instance and provisioning, that's an architecture. So every provisioning is a different thing altogether. That's something I'll talk tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, no, because see, I had read somewhere that not everyone can have an access to provisioning.
Yes, not everybody will have an access to provisioning. That is very true. It's only after 3 to 4 years of experience you have into success factor, then only you'll get an access to provisioning. All right.
Okay, so this what you are teaching right now is not something related to that.
No, it's not something related to that. This question is something, it's like, that in every batch I have taken, as a people, when they start learning and getting into the technical thing, they often ask me this question. So
Okay.
What is the difference between your end user and your success factor or the administrator?
Okay.
Yes, team?
Well, end user will be more restricted only to data entry. Administrator will be the one that will be providing the access to end user according to the needs of the company or new user creation of new user.
That's right, Michael. What you said, end user is restricted to the data entry, and administrator is actually the person who has trained into success factor. That is the basic difference between your end user and success factor. Now, let me make it more simplified. Like for example, let's suppose if I duplicate this screen. Once I duplicate this screen, you can see this administrator section, it is coming, right? In success factor, if you have an access to this one, this area, it means you are an administrator, because normally end user will not get an access to admin center, because in admin center only you can do all the configuration. All right. Now, why end user comes into the picture? End user comes into the picture because let's suppose you are a part of a implementation project and you're doing the project for ADP. Now, after doing this implementation, see, consultant will not remain at the client location for lifelong, right? Once they finish off with the implementation, they will move on with the another project. So before they move on to the another project, they need to train some people from the company, right? Like for example, let's suppose there is a hiring. Now, add new employee, it takes almost 1 hour to the hiring, right? So let's suppose if the administrator is doing it, they will will be just wasting their time, right? So few section of those training, what they do, not all, not as an administrator, but few section of those training, they train to end user, so that once they are not at the company premises, all those small section, those end user can take it. So basically what Michael said, end user is only restricted to data entry. That is actually true. And once you have an access to admin center where you can go ahead and do all the configuration, that becomes you are an administrator. So I hope it is clear, team, what is basic difference between end user and your administrator.
Yes.
Sana?
Yes, Ashish. I will ask you maybe at the end of the session regarding I'm still a little confused between this instance and provisioning thing, because I thought maybe the end user is someone who can access only instance, and admin is someone who can access both provisioning and instance.
Well, see, you can say that, I think this is also right, Sana, that, in such cases, an end user will only have an access to instance architecture, whereas administrator will also have an access to provisioning architecture. Okay, now let me also tell you, Sana, almost like 4 or 5 years back, there was a 3 system. Okay. Those 3 systems now, after SAP took over SuccessFactors, and that was in January 2014, so they got rid of 3rd system. Now, before, what used to happen, there used to be lot of things we used to do on the provisioning architecture. SAP is also trying to get away with the provisioning architecture. They are shifting everything to the instance architecture now. So it's just only few things, maybe after few years, you will see that there is no provisioning architecture. There will be only one architecture.
Okay.
All right. So that will be the instance architecture. But right now, provisioning architecture is only used for activating your that which module.
Yes.
Which your client has taken. So that module only you can activate. All right. So this is what the only purpose which is used for the provisioning architecture, and there is no other use of provisioning architecture. However, in Employee Central, there are 1 or 2 things more where you can use the provisioning architecture. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's come into the system, team. So here we are into the system. So here you can see user permission. So in user permission, you can see if you're doing a calibration. So this is a calibration. What is calibration, team?
I don't know this.
All right. Anybody has any idea what is calibration? See, because these are the often question. It's like, because it's an HR related ERP, right? So the terminology, it should be clear, right? And with the goal management, I'm also going to cover the calibration, right? So calibration, it is something like, for example, if you have been a part of a performance management in the company, let's suppose your organization says, that, there are 100 people in your organization. And once there are 100 people in your organization, so your organization says everybody who's going to get the 5 out of 5 rating. In such cases, what they will do, they will straight away, they will get the 30% hike. All right. While doing the performance, your company realized that 40% people out of 100, which is 40 employee, they have got 5 out of 5 rating. But then the company budget is not so much. So in such cases, what they do, management calibrate, either they reduce the employee rating or they increase the employee rating. So that is what known as a calibration. We will see that into your goal and performance section. So here you can see either you can select all or either you can select it one by one individually also. right? So like this, you can do that. So similarly, you have a goal section also. So in your goal section also, where you can see select all, where you have a, you can either select all, or either you can, whatever you think it is required, you can go ahead and select those permission and give it to the employee, right? Like for example, here you can see, your assignment, it is coming, your agenda, it is coming. Then if you scroll down here, you will see the permission, it is coming, right? So here you will see that team assignment, goal assignment, share initiative, right? All those sections will coming. Then here you have a performance section. So you create your performance template also, right? So here you can see performance management access, team overview access, or the any of those template access you want to give. Here you can give all the template also, or if any individual template also. You can select, maybe let's suppose you want to give this template access only. So in such case, you can only select this particular template access, right? Then you can also see, there was, session which I did for Accenture company also. So you can see Accenture template also I have created. Then there is a learning section which is coming. Learning is nothing, it's just your training section. So SuccessFactors also has a training module, that's a learning section. So here it's a CDP where you can see career development plan, you have your, then compensation and variable pay, right? So if you have an access to compensation and variable pay, either you can select it all, or either you can select it as an individual, what access they will have individually. So like this, you can see, you can select all your role which is coming, right? It will take some time, team, to get familiar with all these details because there are a lot of information here. So, it takes some time here to get familiar to all these access. Then you can see there is employee data, and in employee data, you can see all these access which is coming, like bonus, your salary. Then you will also see, if I scroll down here, so you can see this is view, and this is coming for edit section. So if you want to give only for the view section, let's suppose you want to give this access to the promotion percentage, only the view to the employee. You do not want to give this access to the edit, right? So like this also you can do that. So here you can see there is a cell phone. Maybe you want to give an access only to view this, or even you want this, you do not want to give this access to edit. So you don't give this access to edit, right? Facts section, you're fine with edit also, so that employee, if there is any facts changes, employee can go ahead and edit. So like this, you can see there is a whole lot of section which is coming here, right? You have this cell phone, you have a citizenship, you have a city, you have a compensation, you have a country, and then after this, if you scroll down, you can see there's a customizable field, right? And then if you scroll down further below, you can see there's an email, employee ID, you have a job section, first name, hire date, gender, right? So whatever section that you want to give this to edit, or whatever the section you want to give this to, make the changes also, in that case, you can select as per all your requirement what the company wants it. Then here you can see the another 3 node, you can see it is for the employee central module. So here if you click on this employee central module, here you will see all these related information for the person information. You will see you have a current view, view history, edit or insert, or the correct section. And even the last section is a delete section, right? So whatever access you want to give, you can go ahead and provide all these section access to the people, right? So like this, you will have to create all these role in the company. All right, so what access, maybe this certain access, you want to give this for delete also. So you can select it, all these delete. So it all depends upon team, how you want to go ahead and create your role. Then another section you can see it is coming as an employee central and compensation integration. So in this case, if you have a compensation integration, so here you can go ahead and do all compensation related integration in your this section. All right, so here you can see this is a view section, this is the edit section, right? So you have all the view and edit. So you want to give, I want to give all this view also, and I want to give all this edit section also, right? So you can see I have given all these sections, right? Manager, job title, pay grade, pay range, company, business unit. So you can see I have given all, and you can also see there is a country specific information also it is coming. Like, I don't know what this BRA, which country actually it is. I think this is for China, if I'm not mistaken. So this is for China. So you can see in China, they have especially these 3 sections as, permission they have given. I think this is for France. So in France also, you can see if you want to give this access only to the France country. So in that case, you will have to create a different role only for the France, right? Which is a contract type, number of the initial poll, and statement. So like this, you can see, then this is a family relationship with employer, contract reference, right? So like this also, you can go ahead and create it for the country specific information. Next section, team, you have employee central import duties. So import is something you can see here. I have mentioned this as a 12 point. So when we will come into this 12 point, then we will discuss more about the import section, right? How we can go ahead and do all these import. Okay. Then you have an employee widget. So if you have any employee widget here, so in this section, you can select it here as an employee widget. Then here there is an employee view. So what all those employee can view, whether they can view the blood group or not, whether they can view the asset detail or not, whether they can view the education, employment. So if you want to give all these access, you'll have to come here and select all these sections. All right, so here you will see history, learning, payroll, pending requests, right? So if you want to give this access, you can go ahead and do that. Then there is a talent search. So talent search, it is like, all those details that they can actually go ahead and do the talent search. So here you can go ahead. Talent search is nothing, it's just this search. So above that, you can see this particular box, right? So here, if you give this access, then only they will be able to search it. If you don't give this access, they will not be able to search it. Then you can see, team, another 3 knot, it is related to your payroll. So payroll is actually not very happening in your SuccessFactors system. What they do, they just integrate it with your SAP R3 system. So you can see if you want to give this permission, here you have the permission. If you have the payroll integration permission, so here you also have a payroll integration permission. Payroll control center, you can see it is coming here. So you have your all these payroll control center. Then you have a SAP system configuration. So at present you have a SAP system configuration. Then you have a continuous performance management. So CDP is, again, it's a part of your goal and performance management. So this is something when we will touch base on the goal and performance. So here you can also see the CDP section also, it is coming here, right? This is another continuous performance management. Both are same thing, team. Sorry, this is a different thing. Continuous performance is a different, and continuous performance management is a different thing. Then you can see there is a general user section, it is coming. What all access you want to give to the general user section, right? Whether they can create mobile, whether they have a mobile access or not, all right, or whether they can create this permission for or not, right? Bala, you want to add something?
Yeah. General user means employees.
General user means employee only. Yes. General user means employee only. All right, there is no other difference between here, what is coming. General user means it's an employee only, okay?
Okay.
Then here you have a recruitment section. So if you are doing the recruitment, so here you will have a recruitment. MDF is something which is very important, and I think in the theory section of your employee central, I did mention about the MDF, right? So it is what is the MDF, team?
Metadata framework.
Yes, it's a metadata framework. And what is the advantage of metadata framework?
Directly we can configure into the system.
Yes, directly you
we can manage data, we can do that.
Yes, so the manage, yes, very good, Bala. So through the manage we can do that. So here you can also see there is a MDF section which is also coming for the recruitment, right? So if you have a recruitment, so you can select the recruitment, then here there is a report permission. So if you're doing any report, in that case, you will have your all these permission section, it is coming in. Like if you want to give this access to create report, or if you want to give this access to only to view report, list view report, detailed report, right? So like this, you can have those permission and section. Then there is analytics. Analytics is another kind of a report. So, okay, wherever you are seeing this question marking, right? So if you bring your cursor, you will see this is actually a help, right? So if you're not quite sure about, what actually it is, so you can just bring your cursor here and you can read what actually is a function permission, what they mean by. But analytics is nothing, it's just a reporting section. So once we'll come into the reporting, then there I'll show you all those analytics, how we can go ahead and do that. Then there is a succession. Succession is another very, most of the people, which I've come across. So what is succession team? Right? I explained you what is calibration. Now what is succession now?
So succession is data. Is it related to succession data?
But what is succession related data?
It's a
Is it
personal
system
data.
that,
Personal data?
the system that allows to replace somebody or possibly replace somebody, you know, possible candidates to replace somebody.
Right, right, Mijal, you are actually right. Well, what Mijal is saying, team, that like for example, let's suppose you working as a team lead. Tomorrow you got as a promoted as a manager, right? So your team lead position is empty, right? So before you get promoted, your organization asks you, especially the HR department, that if you see any successee, see when you're working as a team lead, you also have a certain people below you who are reporting to you, right? So your organization asks you that before you move as a manager, do you see any of your successee who can take your position? All right, so if you find any successee from that lot, you can assign them as a successee. That is what the succession management is all about. So what Mijal said, actually that was correct, right? It's a personal data, but it's a personal data about the replacement of some position where your higher authority, they sees you that you can take it as this particular position as a successee, and then your promotion will also happen. So that's what the succession management is all about. Then you can see manage document generation template. So here you have a manage your document generation template. You have a miscellaneous permission. So you will see here there is a lot of miscellaneous permission. It is coming like AAA and BMW contract benefit, right? And then you have your other CSR. You have a commuting allowance. Then you also have your compensation consent. Then you also have your disciplinary action, right? So all these sections. So like you can see, so we'll see that, how we can create all these sections. So here you can see there are various other details, right? If you want to give this function only for the current view current thing, or if you want to give this access to the view history also, you want to take this action for the create, insert, correct, or delete and import and export also. So like this also you can go ahead and create all these sections as well. You have a data retention center. Data retention center is nothing, just a duplication of an employee. So if you have a duplication of an employee, so here you can actually access those data retention center. Then you also have your apprentice management, right? So if you have an apprentice, so here you can do that. Then there is a home page versus style group. So you can see all these home page versus style group, it is coming here, right? This is something which I'll cover into your introduction to mastery. Then there is a time management team. So in your time management also, you will see all your time management section is going to come. What time the employees coming, what time the employees leaving, what time they will have an access, what time they will not have an access. All these sections you will see into your this area. Then you have a time management object permission. And then here you can see there is a manage form it is coming, right? So you have your all these manage form. So here you can see right now whatever we have discussed is about the end user permission. If you have the administrator permission also, so here you will see all these administrator permission is also coming. So manage permission, so here you can see manage calibration, you can see you can provide the calibration related access, and then you have the manage career development. And in this case you can see all your career development and everything it is coming here. So if you have any career related development section, you will see into your this area. So here you can also see there is a continuous performance, and in this continuous performance what is actually happening, so you can see whatever the access and not access you can give here, so you can have this continuous performance. This is something we'll cover into your goal and performance management. All right. Oh, these people, they have come, team. They just hold on for 2 minutes, team. Let them go away, then we'll start the session.
Hello, Ashish, are you there?
Yes, Bala, I'm there. I was just waiting for them, because it's a new government initiative what they have done, right? So when they come to pick up the garbage, they put on the song, right? So I was just waiting for them to go away. Okay,
Fine.
anyhow, so here you can see there is a continuous performance management. So here you can see it's like, you can give this access whatever you want to give. Then there is a compensation and variable pay. So you have your compensation and variable pay also. So what is the difference between compensation and variable pay, team? Because that's another two section which you have here. What is compensation and what is variable pay?
Compensation, it comes total pay, but variable only the which is performance related. Company gives according to the performance.
Yes. So normally you will see in India, that your salary section, if you're getting a good salary, in that case, the salaries is being divided into two sections. One is a fixed salary and another is a variable salary, right? Fixed salary is a compensation and variable salary is a variable pay. So that's a two section that you have. So variable pay is mostly consists of your bonus and everything, and your fixed salary consists of your all those details. Then you can see it is coming as a managed competencies and a skill. So here you have your managed competencies and a skill. You can see you can scan the libraries. If you want to give this permission, you can select it as a scan library and the library import. Then you have a managed job profile builder. So you have your all those job profile builder coming into this section. You also have your manage job skill and your profile visibility, so you can give all those access. You can see manage document categories, dashboard, and a report, right? So if you want to give this access to create permission for the reports and everything, you can give here. Then you have a document information team. So any kind of a document, whether you want to change document date or you want to change approve, 360 degrees. So like this, you can select it here. These are the form template. Form template, basically it is like the rating scale, the route map, and any other form template you will see it is coming here. Then this is the integration tool. So if you can integrate your SuccessFactors with your any of the branded ERP or the local ERP. So like this, you can go ahead and select those access. Here you can see there is a manage goals section it is coming. So, you have those access related to the goal section. Then there is a manage question library. So you also have this question library, especially when you log in into the system. This section, again, I'll cover that into your introduction to mastery. Then you can also see there is a recruitment. So if you have those recruitment detail and everything, you can select it. Then there is a MDF recruitment. Succession, I already told you, right? So these access are actually your administrator related access, right? It's not the end user related access. So then there is the intelligent services tool. Then there is a manage system properties, manage user. You can see, so you can click on, you can, whether they will have an access to pending hire or not, whether they can rehire an inactive employee or not, right? They can manage user or not, they can export employee or not, right? So like this, you can see all these section it is coming. Then you also have a manage pay scale, manage apprentice, time related, access if you want to give, right? Manage advances, then manage benefit, then manage document generation. You can see it is coming here, right? Mass changes if you want to give to an access. So you can also give this mass changes. API is actually an integration with the external system. So here you can see employee central import section, right? And if you remember, we have taken up here, right, all those biographical information compensation, right, which is actually your 12 point. Like you can see biographical information, address import, right? So whatever access you want to give, like this, you can control access for all the employee. Then you can also see the manage foundation object, manage foundation object type, then metadata framework you have here, right? Another foundation object. Foundation object is nothing, just a corporate data. Data purge is your duplication. So here you have an instance synchronization. Position related detail here, you can see the company structure overview. And company structure overview, that's something I have shown you yesterday only, right? How you can see the company structure. So there is a lot of configuration also which is there. In the coming session, we will see how we can create this company structure overview. Then there is a onboarding and offboarding business configuration rule. It is nothing, it's just your schema and PCR. Just like if you're coming from the background of SAP R3 system, so there you will see schema and PCR, right? But here in SuccessFactors, they call it as a business configuration rule. Then you have a managed presentation, talent card, security card, income tax declaration, the deduction, workflow. Workflow also it is important team. So it's one of your 14 step of implementation, right? So we will see all those workflow related information. Then you have a manage action search. Manage action search is your this area, the where my mouse is. So here you can decide, what access that you want to give. Manage serve configuration system, then manage business process, then spot award admin center. Admin center permission is this permission, right? So this is your admin center permission. So here you can decide it's like what access they will have and what access they will not have. Here you can see admin alert object, check tool, and service center. Now let's suppose I have selected few of those data, right? I'll done this. After doing this, so you can see these are the permission which I have given here, right? Now there is a third option. Third option, it is grant this role to. But grant this role to, I also need to create my manage permission group, because here it will come only those group section. So what I'll do, I'll save changes. All right, the moment I'll save these changes, because first I need to create this manage permission group. Once I have created manage permission group, again I'll come to my manage permission role. So once you have saved this, you can see your role is coming as an inactive. Why it is coming as an inactive? Because the third option you have not assigned. So what I'll do, I'll come to the admin center, and in the admin center, and now I'll create that as a manage permission group. So if I again click here, you can see manage permission group, it is coming here, right? I'll click on this one. Again, you will see the same option. You can see the group name, you can see the user type, you can see the status or dynamic, you can see active membership. So here you can see there are 5 people active. So if you want to see their name, you can see all their name, it is coming here, right? So like this, you will see all these section. Then you can see last modified and take action. Take action also, again, it will have the same thing here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create here as a new group. So I'll create this new, and in this group, I'll take it as a ADP group. All right, now you have a various option. You can see those choose, you can select this employee from the citizenship. You can select it from the city, country, and you can also see there is a customizable field. It is coming. You can select it from the position, department, division. So any people, that maybe let's suppose you want to create a policy and, for only for female, right? So in that case, what you can do, you can create a policy and you can give this access only to female. Right, that female has to leave by 6 p.m. their office, right? They don't need to stay in the company. So like this, you can have this various group, from where you can create to whom you want to give this access. So you can see, it's like, there's a policy that you want to create only for the married people. So system by default, it will select all these people. So, and then you can also see that there is a state user. I'm going to create a, something only for myself, and my user ID, it is user 5. So at this point of time, I am giving only to myself. But if you have some other user, you can assign this to the user also, right? Similarly, team, you will also have it with the department wise. If you want to create something, maybe let's suppose with the country wise, in that case, you can search for your country, and you can see there is Australia, it is coming. Now let's suppose I want to create something where I want to give only to the user access to Australia. And if I update this information, you can see there are total 63 people in the Australia. Right, so like this, you can select all these sections which you want to do here. Maybe let's suppose you want to do a section only for male. So in that case, you can select this male option, and let's see how many males are there in the company. There are 715 males. So whatever you can decide, when you give this access, it will go to all 715 male in the company. So like this, you can do that. But I'm going to select it as a user because I want to give only access to myself. So here I'll select it as a user 5, and I will done this, and it is how many people? It will come only 1, right? Because it is only my access. So I'll done this. The moment you will done this, you will see ADP group has started coming in, and you have given only access to yourself, right? Then again, you need to come back to the admin center. From admin center, what you need to do, you need to come back to the manage permission role. Once you come to the manage permission role, in that case, select your role, ADP role again, because we need to assign the third option. So once you come to the third option, which is ADP role, and scroll down below. So here you can see your third permission, right? See, first two we have given, right? First section, which is your name and description. Second section is a permission setting. These two options both we have given. But the third permission is grant this role to, I'll select this add option. Once I select this add option, what I'll do, I'll select this detail, and we have created ADP group, right? So here you can see I'll select my ADP group and I will select this done and then scroll down below here. So you can see you have selected as the ADP group, right? Which we just created into the group section. Scroll down here completely below and save your changes. So once you save your changes, in that case, what you will see your role has become active, right? So like this team, you create your 11 point, which is your RBP permission. I have just shown you only one role and group, but like this, you can create a different role and different group into the system. So any question, team, on your role-based permission?
A question. What about if what I see is all the standard fields, and also sharing in SuccessFactors, you can create a customized field. So how it's going to be reflected into the security when it's a company customized field?
Right. So Michael, in coming session, it's like, we're going to see how we can customize various fields. All right. And then I'll show you how that it, it gets reflected in. See, whenever you customize, configure something in your role or something, it will automatically, start reflecting in the standard one. So in that case, like for example, if you click on ADP, again, you'll have to click on your role and then you'll have to select the permission again. So once you select the permission again, and again, let's suppose you have created into the goal section, and again, you'll have to give this access. All right, so like this, you will have to, whenever you create a new field, you'll have to again come into the permission and you'll have to assign this access to whomever you want to give this access.
Okay. Is there a way that you can assign a particular field in a batch way instead of doing one by one, because it's going to be more painful to do it one by one?
See, batch way it will be, because where any particular role you assigning to group of employee, right? So whenever, like whoever has an access to ADP group, all those people will get an access to that particular field.
Okay.
Another question. Let's suppose if you do not want to give this access to multiple people, you want to give this access to one single person only for that particular field. In that case, you will have to create a different role then.
Yes. Yeah. The other one that you mentioned that you, through SuccessFactors, you're going to provide authorization into the SAP system. Is that true or I misunderstood?
I'm sorry, what is that?
Okay, what I understood is that you, from here, you can give permission access to the SAP system.
Okay, right. Integration to SAP system, see, both the product are of SAP only, right? Whether you SAP SuccessFactors or whether you talk about SAP HCM system, which is an R3 system, right? So what, because payroll is not there much on your SAP SuccessFactors system. So what they do, they integrate it with the R3 system. See, module to module integration, it is done by the functional person, but module to technical integration, it is done by the technical person. So for that, you need to have a technical person. Don't worry, this kind of a requirement will not come to us. It will be done by the technical person only. They are the only people who will integrate.
It's using third-party tools, I guess.
Yes, technical integration, like for example, if you want to integrate SuccessFactors with SAP R3 system, or if you want to integrate SuccessFactors with any other ERP PeopleSoft, this has to be done by the technical person, not by us.
Okay.
But module to module integration, that's something has to be done by us. That's something in the coming section, I'll keep on showing it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question, team?
Yeah, Ashish, one doubt. And generally in SAP R3, when we changes something and we get a test transfer request,
Right.
in this SF, In this we
Okay,
don't have
how
any
you
transports.
do your transport into your success factor system from one system to another system, I'll cover this into your introduction to mastery. Okay.
Okay. Oh, fine. Another one small doubt. And this admins, general HR users are there, right, in company. So for them, which area we cover this role? Like in admin center role, we are general user. Which is there?
See, it depends upon what access your organization wants to give to those HR people. If they want to give an access to only to the end user, they will create only the end user. If they want to give an access to administrator also, they provide their access to administrator. But generally, we don't provide access to admin center because we don't want anybody to come and make those changes, right?
Environment, yes, sir.
The person is actually trained, correct? Because what happens, let's suppose if they remove something or if they may have made some important document change, then we will have to again do the reconfiguration, correct? So that is the reason till the time person is not experienced and everything, we don't give an access to admin center.
Okay.
All right. Right. Any other question, team, before I close the session? No question? All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Ashish, one, I mean, can you send that GM and PM recording sessions to us?
I have already done that yesterday, Bala.
Oh, sorry, I didn't check. I came to out of Hyderabad, so.
No problem.
Thanks.
I've already
Thank you.
done that. Along with the documentation, I've also sent it. All right. So tomorrow, same time, team. Tomorrow, same time, we'll go ahead with the first topic, which is your how we can go ahead and provide those to activate Employee Central into the provisioning architecture, right? So tomorrow we'll cover the first point. Okay. Sure. Okay then, team.
Okay, Ashish. Thank you.
All right, Sanaya.